Where do you get the fucking money? So, notwithstanding I've answered this indirectly or indirectly in a number of questions, actually dozens of questions, over a number of podcasts since I started, I've never just had one subject matter, one topic, where we talked about the sources of capital, where you get the money. Where do you get the fucking money? Now, first of all, we're going to dispel some myths about raising capital. Number one myth, and the biggest myth of them all, is that it's hard. It's not hard. And in some respects, it's quite easy. If you follow the methodology and you follow the steps and you don't deviate. Many years ago, in the late 90s, I had a seminar that I gave to a lot of people all over through the United States, Europe, Canada, that was raising capital. And it gave a lot more definitive pointers than I'm going to cover today, but there was a guarantee, and I've only given a couple guarantees in my seminars since I started, given the first seminar in 1993. And the guarantee was as follows. If you cannot, after attending, and I used to charge $1,000 per person to attend the Raising Capital seminar, and I used to have between 50 and 200 people in the audience every time I gave it. And it proved to be one of the most successful seminars I ever gave. And but if you follow the steps and you can't raise money, whatever amount of money, it doesn't matter the amount of money that you wanted to raise, in the first 6 months subsequent to the seminar, I would do one of two things. Either I would go out and raise the money for you, or I'd write you a check myself and invest in the company. But you had to do the requisite steps. And one of which was, and the biggest, was to give 2 financial presentations per week for the next 50 weeks out of 52, because you're lazy bastards. I'll let you off 2 weeks. And if you didn't raise the money, I'd give you your money back. But you would step in after 6 months, and I would do it myself because I would rather raise the money than have to give you your money back. Well, from 1995-ish to to today, we have never had one single person that has called me on that guarantee. Now, the guarantee hasn't been alive probably for 8 or 9 years, but it was certainly in force for 10 straight years. The people either raised the money or they didn't follow the program. Well, what I'm about to go through is similar. There's no guarantees here. But I'm here to tell you that if you gave 2 presentations a week, and that's 2 presentations to 2 distinct and separate financial institutions. That doesn't mean you go and you see Bank of America, a manager, and then see the assistant manager of the same branch. That means 2 different financial institutions, and it's not always a bank. And what we're going to talk about is insurance companies, pension funds, of course, private equity, hedge funds, etc., have become very popular, along with this diverse methodology as crowdfunding. But if you do 2 presentations a week, I guarantee that you will raise the necessary capital, no matter how doofus is the deal. But you're not going to raise it next door. You're not going to raise it probably at your existing bank. You're not going to raise it without having to travel. As Robert Ringer used to say in Winning Through Intimidation, an expert is somebody that travels 200 miles away with a briefcase. Well, raising capital is very similar. I was based in California to begin with, and then in Houston, Texas for Great Western, but I raised most of my money in New York City and or London. I traveled more than 200 miles, and I had a briefcase. So it's not difficult. And I said in 1995, when I came out with Raising Capital tape, and when I came out with a Doing Deals and Acquisition tape, and when I came out with Financing Your Dream, the world is flush with cash. Well, if I said that early on, now the world's even more flush with cash. The only difference is that because of the financial crisis from 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, you may have to travel farther, but someplace somebody's going to feel that you're an expert.